just to name a few. More recently, the 2025 killings of Ingrid Masdorp, Rosalind Dinelao Fabian, and Beyonce Karugas have further highlighted law enforcement's ongoing struggles to resolve cases involving vulnerable children and deliver justice. I therefore wish to ask the Honourable Minister the following. Number one, what specific strategic reforms has the Ministry implemented to improve the investigation and resolution of these sensitive unresolved cases? Number two, does the Namibian police forces possess adequate forensic capabilities to investigate these cases? And if there are challenges, what are those? Question number three, can you provide an update on the current state of investigations into high-profile unresolved cases such as those of Magdalena Stoffels, Avihe Cheryl Uyaha, and Mandela Nakale, and what obstacles have law enforcement encountered? Number four, what measures ensure accountability and transparency in police investigations of child murders and disappearances? Question number five, given the recent murder cases this year involving Ingrid Masdorp, Rosalind Dinelao Fabian, and Beyonce Karugas, what is the progress regarding these investigations? And lastly, are any legislative or policy changes being considered to strengthen child protection and law enforcement accountability in Namibia? I so submit, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. Can the Honourable Member please table the questions? I recognize Honourable Mvula.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I hereby give notice that on Thursday, the 3rd of July 2025, I shall ask the Minister of Works and Transport, Honourable Veiko Nekundi, the following. In 2013, the size of government employees stood at 107,000, including the security cluster. In 2023, in the New Era article dated 3rd of March 2023, that size of employees is growing. And the projections reflected in that article is that the civil service employment size is projected to increase by 10,000, that's 9.34% over the next 10 years. On 11 March 2020, the Cabinet passed an urgent decision for the implementation of Resolution number 3/03.03.20/004 that allows civil servants to purchase government houses at a sliding scale discount between 15 and 30%, depending on their earnings. The resolution directed the Ministry of Works to provide alternative housing offers to 8, particularly residents of ERF 6596. Our latest update is that only 5 of those 8 residents have been allocated plots and their houses have been constructed at the tune of 7.5 million. This translates that into 1.5 million amount of money spent per house. These 5 residents with their families are given offers to purchase those houses based on the market value determined by the Department of Works and in line with the Cabinet resolution. 3 more residents continue to reside on RF 6596 on Lewis Street, Windhoek, in an area behind government stores. 2 are in possession of temporary allocation letters, which whilst one in possession of an 8-year-old or an 8-year letter for permanent, or rather 8-year-old permanent under allocation. None of these 3 residents have been given offers to purchase those houses. Now, the communication on the 15th of July 2021, the residents in question addressed a letter to the then Executive Director, Ms. Esther N. Panda of the Ministry of Works, formally requesting, or these occupants formally tabled or submitted a formal request to be granted the opportunity to purchase those houses. Now, 3 of these occupants received recently eviction letters dated 15 May 2025, signed by the now ED, Mr. Titus Dove. Therefore, I ask the Honourable Minister the following. 1. What criteria and process are applied by the Ministry in arriving at the decision to evict government employees that reside in government houses or as tenants, be it temporary or otherwise? 2. When a government employee is evicted from a government house, what is the possibility of allocating such a family, because it's no more an individual, with an alternative accommodation by your ministry? 3. How many government houses are occupied by government tenants under temporary or different arrangements across the country? 4. How many government houses or flats have to date been sold to civil servants in accordance to cabinet resolutions 5th /22.02.00/004 and the resolution that I just mentioned earlier? The sub-question is and how many of those government houses are sold to non-civil servants, and what valuation criteria was applied? 5. Can the Honourable Minister inform this August House what the duration is when it comes to adjudicating the applications for government accommodation? And second last, can the Minister deny or confirm that government cabinet resolutions are valid, or that the Minister is of the opinion that cabinet resolutions are only valid at the behest of an individual member of the executive? And lastly, Honourable Minister, when will these 3 residents of this particular ERF 6596 be given offers to purchase government houses or given alternative housing? This question, of course, you are a responsible government. This question, which is question 7, applies to all the affected government houses tenants across the country. I so submit. And in fact, I've attached support documents for reference.
Okay. Can the Honourable Member please table the questions? I recognize Honourable Justina Jonas.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. I hereby give notice that on the 10th July 2025, I shall direct the following question to Right Honourable Prime Minister Dr. Ria Chitunga Ngurare and the Honourable Minister of Justice and Labour, Honourable Wise Emmanuel. The Labour Act number 11 of 2007 and the Social Security Act currently do not mandate paternity benefit for employees in either the public or private sector. As a result, working fathers are compelled to rely on annual leave or unpaid leave to support the care of their newborns. Paternity leave is becoming increasingly important in our evolving social structure, which is predominantly composed of young workers. Introducing a clear paternity leave policy will benefit not only fathers and family, but also workplaces and society at large. It enables fathers to build early emotional bonds with their newborn, positively influencing a child's long-term social and emotional development. Moreover, paternity leave promotes shared parenting responsibility, foster gender equity, and contribute to the well-being of mothers by reducing postpartum stress through sharing caregiving responsibility. I acknowledge the broad discussion in this House that recognizes the importance of including paternity leave in the Labour Act, which is currently under review. I also know that the Office of the Prime Minister announced last year that the government as an employer is exploring ways to improve benefit of public servants, including the possibility of introducing paternity leave. I therefore ask the following questions. Number 1, to the Right Prime Minister, What is the current status of the investigation into the inclusion of paternity leave as a benefit for public servants? If the investigation has been completed, could you kindly share its findings and recommendation? To the Right Honourable Prime Minister, that's number 2, when can public servants expect to begin receiving paternity benefit? Number 3, to the Honourable Minister of Justice and Labour, what is the current progress in the review of the Labour Act, number 11 of 2007, and will the Amendment Act include provision of paternity leave? The last questions to Honourable Minister of Justice and Labour, how many private companies in Namibia currently offer paternity leave as an employee benefit? I so submit, Speaker.
Yes, may the member please, Honourable Member, please table the questions. Honourable Member, take seat. Okay, Honourable Member, Honourable Kambala, if you want to raise a point of order, you can ask for the floor to raise a point of order. No. Honourable Member, can you raise your point of order? I will allocate the floor to the members when I allocate the floor. I will not be told by individual members when to recognize who. The Honourable Kabala now has the floor to raise the point that he wants, and I'll make a ruling on that one. You cannot say that the rules should only apply to her, but they cannot apply to you. When you want to talk, you talk whenever you want, without a floor to speak. No, the rules apply to everyone equally. So Honourable Kambara can now raise the point that he wants to raise.
Speaker, the general
People
rules.
speak in tens in this house, and the tens are allocated by the presiding officer.
The general rules.
That's the point I'm making.
The general rules state that if
you see, that's the problem with you. You want to interrupt.
No, you should protect us.
No, you were also interrupting.
No, Speaker, am I protected?
It is evident that you are not on our side. You are just one-sided.
Am I protected?
You are protected just as she was protected when you were unwilling to
Speaker, I was asking, maybe the standing rules and committee met and decided to change the rules when you are putting a question or notice. Is that you need to put a question or notice only to one member and not to two in one question. So and Speaker, you just allowed someone to put two questions, Honourable Jonas, to put two questions, one question to two different individuals. Normally, the practice would be that you read each specific question dedicated to each specific honourable member. It's easy as such. But now, Speaker, you allowed here to put the questions and still submit it to the secretary in the wrong format, unless you are saying that you will send it back for the Jonas to go and rectify that particular mistake. It's normal to make a mistake. To understand that we are still learning. But Speaker, you cannot do that, because now if somebody else does it from this side, you'll make it another problem. So Speaker, please. No, next time.
Not next time.
Honourable Member, you have made your point. The point that I'm trying to make to you, Honourable Member, is you don't have to raise a point at the time that you want to raise it. You indicate your willingness to take the floor. You wait for the presiding officer to give you the floor. You make your point. And then when you make your point, the presiding officer would apply his or her mind to the point that you have made and make a determination. So you don't have to act like the world will come to an end because you did not get the floor that you were. So Honourable Member, no. Yeah. Honourable, I know. Let me conclude. Let me conclude. The point that you have raised the presiding officer will look into it and make a determination. I just want you to know that you will be heard whenever you need to be heard. Just be patient. No, I will make the ruling when I make the ruling. Yeah. Now, Honorable Mulunga, a determination will be made. No, we will make a determination. Honorable Mulunga. Oh, I have on my screen here, Honorable Mulunga, followed by Honorable Kangulu, followed by Honorable Hangula. No, I have, who is 90? Honorable Susiku. Who is Honorable Susiku?
Speaker.
Honorable Susiku. Is that the correct pronunciation? Just one moment. I'm trying to find the order of the speakers here. I'll give you the floor, Honorable Member. Please, just wait. Just wait, I'll give you the floor. Honorable, okay, just wait. I don't know, you cannot impose yourself, Honorable Member. You are giving the floor.
Stand up. Yeah, just stand up. Once you go on side, only stand up when you have only one person on the floor can stand up. In one question.
You must wait when there's someone talking.
Honorable Member, can you take your seat, please? Okay, Honorable Hangula, what is the point that you are making?
Speaker, the issue here is, being Chief Whip, I need to call my people to order, is because the rule on the point of order, it says that whenever a point of order is raised, 92(1), sub-rule 1, the person on the floor must take their seat. That clearly hasn't been done.
Mara, you also refuse to take your seat when I ask you to take your
Furthermore, 92, sub-rule 6, by implication means that you must hear what the point of order was, and if you consider it frivolous, then you can tell the member not to. But now what happened was, you totally disregarded the point of order. She didn't sit down, and then when the member was talking the way he was talking, the honorable didn't sit down, and then rule number 6 was also not adhered to the speaker. So the problem here is that when you do things like that, when especially sub-rule 1 is not adhered to, what you are going to do is invoke a sort of frustration. That means like the rules are not being followed. Speaker. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. You must please, at all times, regardless of your ruling, please follow the rules as well.
Can you?
Thank you.
There were not one question in one.
Mongo. The speaker is not following rules.
Honorable members, the presiding officer would assign opportunities for members to speak, whether they are making statements, asking questions, or making points of order. Nobody can say they will just get up because they want to make a point of order and refuse to sit because the presiding officer must recognize them. That is wrong. So all of us must comply with that rule.
You will break that table.
Now, the next speaker that I would like to recognize is Honorable Mulunga. Please take the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I hereby give notice that on Thursday, 3rd July 2025, I shall ask the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Land Reform, Honorable Inge Zamwani, come with the following questions. Honorable Minister, in recent public statements and reports, it has come to light that over the past 4 years, the government has generated an amount of about 1.2 billion from auctioning of what is called government objective quotas within the fisheries industry, an initiative originally established to respond to emergencies such as drought, floods, and humanitarian disaster. However, the repeated and now institutionalized auctioning of these quotas has raised a very serious concern both in terms of policy and constitutional equality. Article 95L states that the maintenance of the ecosystem, essential ecological processes, and biological diversity of Namibia and the utilization of the living natural resources of sustainable basis for the benefit of all Namibians. This means that all natural resources are public goods and their management must be equitable, accountable, and transparent. Relying on the auctioning of fishing quotas as a default fundraising mechanism while extractive sectors are exempted not only creates policy inconsistency but raises profound equity and governance concerns. The fishery sector, which supports thousands of Namibians directly and indirectly, must not be turned into a budget filter at the expense of the long-term sustainability and community empowerment that benefits all the Namibian people. Despite the significant revenue generated from auctioning of the fishing quotas over the years, the fishermen's problems that are at what is known as Okapale in Walvis Bay have not been solved to date. Quotas that were allocated to follow employees that lost their jobs at various factories are not genuinely benefiting them. I therefore would like to ask the Honourable Minister the following questions. What is the original legal and policy framework under which government objective quotas were created? And does it authorize the repeated auctioning of such quotas for the general revenue-raising purpose? Why has government turned the auctioning of fishing quotas into a fiscal norm, while other similar extractive resources such as diamonds, uranium, and copper are not auctioned in a similar fashion? How does the ministry ensure that funds that are raised from the quotas are transparently accounted for and directly applied to the original objectives, such as drought and flood relief? What criteria are used to determine who is awarded the government objective quotas? And does the ministry ensure that the elites and politically connected do not misuse such allocations? In the current auctioning system, what percentage of the fisheries rights are reserved for genuine fishing cooperatives, small-scale fishers, and communities in the coastal regions versus the large corporate interest? What are the appreciate of the minister's recent effort in the group of the fishing employees integrated back into their workplace? However, the ministry has still not solved the issue of the fishermen at Okapale. What is the ministry doing about these employees? How is the ministry monitoring the quota allocation to factories on condition of absorbing employees? And how is the ministry making sure that such employees are genuinely benefiting from such quotas? Lastly and finally, what systems is the ministry using when allocating such quotas to factories who are mandated to provide employment to our people? So I submit.
I recognize Honorable Susiku.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My name is Bonnie Susiku, the Shadow Deputy Minister of Health and Social Services. Honorable Speaker, I hereby give notice that on Thursday, 3rd July 2025, I shall ask the Honorable Minister of Health and Social Services, Dr. Esperanza Lubindao, the following. Honorable Speaker, I rise today with deep concern on behalf of the thousands of Namibians across the country who are suffering in silence due to severe shortages of doctors in public health sector. The situation is not only alarming, but also dangerous to the health and the well-being of our citizens. Particularly, those in rural and underserved areas. Honorable Speaker, one of the pressing reasons for these shortages is unattractive remuneration offered to the public doctors. The salary packages currently being paid to the highly skilled professionals do not reflect the gravity of their responsibility, nor the length or the rigor of their training. Let us not forget that many of these doctors were sponsored by the Namibian Student Financial Assistance Fund, NASFAF, to study abroad, often in countries like Russia, China, Ukraine, and Cuba, where they trained for 6 to 7 years, sometimes under difficult conditions. Yet, when they return to save their country, these doctors are often demoralized by working environments that proper infrastructure and offer little in terms of financial incentives or professional development. As a result, Honorable Speaker, we are witnessing a troubling trend. Doctors saving the government for the minimum required years and then resigning to establish private practice, leaving the public sectors in crisis. We must ask ourselves, what is the cost of neglecting our healthy professionals? We cannot afford a situation where lives are lost because there is no doctor on duty, or where patients in remote clinics wait days to be seen by a professional. The people of Namibia deserve better, and our doctors deserve to be treated with dignity. Honorable Minister of Health and Social Services, here I come. What plans are there in place to face the service? Am I protected, Speaker?
I'm trying to hear them. I'm looking at the member. No, I'm not directed by the I want to hear what the member is saying.
Thank you. Number one, what plans are in place to revise the salary structure of public doctors to make them more competitive and attractive? Number two, what measures has the ministry undertaken to retrain these doctors in the public service after they complete their obligated service years? Number three, has the government considered a long-term incentive and retention scheme that rewards commitment to the public sector, especially for those who serve in rural and hard-to-reach areas? Lastly, but not least, is there any collaboration between the Ministry of Health and NASFAF to create contractual conditions that encourage long-term service for government-trained doctors? Honorable Speaker, the World Health Organization recommends a doctor-to-patient ratio, 1 doctor, 1,000 patients. Yet Namibia still lags far behind this standard. We must act decisively and urgently to reverse this trend. A healthy nation is a productive nation. If we are to make Vision 2030 and our national development goals a reality, we must invest in those who hold the lives of our people in their hands. Let us not continue to send doctors abroad only to lose them to private sector once they return. Let us show through action and policy that we value the medical profession not only in words but in tangible support. In doing so, we will be safeguarding the healthy and the great republic and the future of our people. I take the Honorable Minister in confidence, as she is a medical practitioner herself. She will understand the dilemma our doctors in public sector are facing. I so sincerely submit.
Honorable members, we are welcome to applaud. Honorable members, we are welcome to applaud when we feel the need to, but we should not be disruptive in the way that we applaud. Yeah, that's a ruling, honorable members. Now, the next honorable member that sought the floor to speak is Honorable Kangulu, and he now has the floor, please.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the floor given. I hereby give notice that on Tuesday, the 1st of July, 2025, I shall ask the Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs, Honorable Franz Kapofi, the following question. Honorable Minister, I rise today as a representative of the people and also as a voice of those who sacrifices, rise, and laid the foundation of our independence. Our veterans of the liberation struggle who have given their youthful and energy in sacrifices for the liberation of our motherland, Namibia. Yet many of them to this end are still living in poverty, in shacks, in all those corners or forgotten corners of our society. The Veteran Act clearly outlines the right, the dignities, and the recognition owed to our veterans. It was established to ensure that those who fought for this nation are not only remembered, but supported through structural beneficiation and the program that are put in place under that particular ministry. However, what we are witnessing is a situation where recognition of the veteran depends on a process that excludes the most vulnerable individuals, a process that requires or else need community involvement in terms of identification. And that, it seems as it is prone to bias, delay, and unfair omission. Honorable Minister, I will therefore respectfully ask the following question. What mechanism does the ministry have in place to ensure that all veterans, including those living in informal settlement and the deep down rural areas, are properly identified and included in the veteran program? Can the minister explain the criteria used to verify an individual's status as a veteran, and whether this process is accessible, credible, transparent, and inclusive from all the 14 regions? Yes. What is the ministry position to this end, in considering the direct families of veterans who are no longer or otherwise have passed away without receiving recognition or else benefit, yet their contributions are vigorously known? Can the ministry consider revising the identification process to include a more inclusive, evidence-based approach rather than relying primarily on reference identification methodologies which can be manipulated, else which may lead to exclusion and injustice. Honorable Speaker, I so submit.
Thank you. Can the honorable member please table the questions? Thank you. Honorable Kanguru was disciplined indeed. He waited for the presiding officer to invite him to bring the question to submit. Yes. Now, Honorable Kambara? Huh? Oral question.
Yes.
Okay, before we come to the oral question, I just wanted to say that in regard to Rule 131 sub 1, general rules for questions, C, that was referred to by the honorable member concerning the question that was posed by Honorable Justina Jonas. C says not more than one subject may be referred to in one question, and the question may not be of excessive length. As far as can be established from the question of the honorable member, it is only one subject that was referred to in that question. There are two aspects of the same thing that were raised, and one aspect was directed to the Right Honorable Prime Minister, and another one to the right to the line minister for the Ministry of Labour. So just to clear any doubt that may exist with any person. Now I have ruled on that. Now I give the floor to Honorable Kambala.
It's okay. I start on just an oral question to the Minister of Finance. It's on the, we recently learned that the Cabinet has approved the operationalization of the National Youth Fund.
Cabinet.
But that is the question. Okay, slower. Okay. We have learned that the Cabinet has approved the operationalization of the Youth Fund and its guidelines and all that, and also learned that Namibia also contribute today 5 million towards the fund. My question is that when are we getting these guidelines? As we had agreed in the budget discussion that before Minister takes it to Cabinet, we first have to discuss, have a discussion around it to make sure that there is no little loophole anywhere. And also the other issue is also that who is envisioned to go and to lead this fund? Because obviously, if you have an operationalization guideline, there must be someone that you are thinking of spearheading the implementation. So, just on those two questions, Madam Minister. Thank you.
Thank you. Does the Honourable Minister wish to respond?
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. And thank you, Honourable Gambara, for that question. Yes, I will come with the ministerial statement so that I can give the details of the common guidelines of the operationalization of the National Youth Fund. I believe, tomorrow is just the day for questions, right? I will make time to come with my ministerial statement on that subject. If that's fine.
85.
Yeah, no.
Yes, thank you, Honourable Minister.
The Speaker, if they want me to come tomorrow like I did come, I should also come tomorrow.
Very good. Thank you, Honourable Minister. Now I give the floor to Honourable Hishono.
Thank you so much, Honourable Speaker. I feel honored that you know my name, not just a number. I thought you were going to say 90 something.
No, you are 85, Honourable Hishono. I had to look for your name.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
We keep it that way. Honourable Speaker, I have two questions to the Honourable Minister of Education, Honourable Sanet Steenkamp. Honourable Minister, according to the Education Act 3 of 2020, Section 128, it prohibits the political parties to do their political activities at schools. And I remember, and I know you remember, that in 2019, The Economist published something on you, when you spoke harshly and with vigor that no political activity shall be done at schools. Yet, last weekend, a certain political party had its pioneers movement housed in the hostel of Aimbili Haufeko Secondary School in Enana. At the same time, while they were housed there, other learners were also there doing their holiday classes. And this, am I protected? It's my turn. I know you like it when I speak, so listen. My time is ticking.
Honorable members. Honorable members. Honorable members. Honorable members. Can you take a seat, Honorable John?
Excuse me?
I want to say something. Can you take your seat, please?
I must take a seat.
Yes, please. Yeah. Honorable members, I would like to remind the members that the questions are to be put in terms of the rules of the House. And the questions are to be put in writing and ahead of the date that a member of the executive is expected to respond. It is only in exceptional circumstances that must be justified that questions may be put orally without a pre-notification. And I just want the members to know that in terms of these rules, the presiding officer has a discretion to disallow a question that is put orally if it is not of an urgent nature. Because I can observe that, and I have said this numerous times. I think I have said it more than 3 times now. And I will start today. I will listen to the question and criteria.
May I go to my next
one? It's disallowed.
Thank you, Honorable
Can you now proceed?
May I go to the next question?
Yes.
And I say my next question,
yes.
And you also check whether it's...
Yes, please.
Okay. As we speak, there are youth games going on in Otsozonju Park Road Fontaine, to be specific, and these youth were supposed to be housed at the Makalani Primary School hostel. When they went there, the hostel was so filthy that they couldn't be housed there. They said no. Not only Makalani, actually, because I have reports of many other places that their hostels are really pigsty. And I checked in the book for Vote 40 in the budget. There's nothing for Makalani, and not much on many other hostels around the country. Now the students, the learners are about to come back from the holiday. This is where the urgency comes. They are about to come back from the holidays. What is going to be done for these hostels? If it's not fit to hold the athletes, is it fit for everyone, for other learners? And how are they supposed to learn in this kind of environment? How is this one, Honorable Speaker?
Yeah, Honorable members. Honorable members, I want to emphasize the point that the urgency of a question is not determined by its importance. It's determined by the need for a response without a pre-notification. And the person who is posing the question must not have had the information earlier on to be able to put the question according to the procedures. Yes, you cannot have it's the interpretation of the presiding officer. It's the interpretation of the presiding officer. You cannot have a situation. You cannot have a situation happen 2 weeks ago, and you decide to come today and say it's urgent oral question. Why did no? So that one is also ruled out. Honorable Venani, you have the floor. I ruled, Honorable Member.
Honorable.
Very important, but you must put it in writing.
No. Honorable Speaker, with all due respect, I crave for your kind motherly indulgence to ask two urgent oral questions, one to the Minister of Education and all of those other important portfolios attached to it, and another one to the Ministry of Agriculture.
Let me hear the gist.
The gist of the question. As a parent, which I believe many of you are, we are supposed to send our children to universities, and it's mid-year of the academic year, and students are now preparing applications across the world, across Namibia and so forth. Government has announced a policy of free education next year. But we have not heard, and this is the agency of it, we have not heard which areas is this policy of free education going to cover. Are the universities going to be free next year? From which entry levels is this education going to be free? And what is the government position vis-a-vis applications of students? Because now that it's urgent. No, it's very urgent, because if you don't have a child, fine.
Please let's not debate.
Yeah, if you don't have a child, fine. But if I have to make a choice to send a child to any university, and my country has already have a policy of a free education, no, a proper answer.
Don't answer people who are asking you questions.
Why is the Speaker only worried about the 90? Why don't you call your people to order?
Both of you to order.
Okay, I yield, you are correct. So that is the first urgent question on government making its policy clear on free education. The second one, agriculture, my dear.
Okay, can I rule on the first one, Honorable?
You just want to rule? Why?
No, but you can't ask
why is the Speaker
Honorable Member, my honorable colleague, very senior member of the House.
Yes.
Since a very youthful age. Honorable Member, you cannot just ask a list of questions. You ask one question, and the Honorable Member would deal with the question, and then you deal with the next one. Okay. But the Honorable Venani, the issue of free education was announced by Her Excellency the President during the SONA. And then the Minister of Education, not yesterday, but a number of days ago, talked about the point that we are raising. So it is not clear why the Honorable Member did not come and pose a question based on the procedure under the rules to get that information from the Minister. So I don't think that question qualifies for urgent oral question. Very important issue, I agree with you. But because of its importance, it can also not just be answered like that. So that one is ruled out. So the Honorable Member can ask the next question.
Yeah, then we can do a list of questions. I mean, if the, okay. Rule the next one also out. The second one is agriculture. Madam Inge Ramani Kamwi, the ministry over a number of months have announced that they are going to subsidize farmers that sold their cattle through the drought period. Up to now, farmers are calling and are saying we are half in the year and government has not started giving a clear commitment whether they are going to pay their subsidies out. On behalf of the farming community, and there are thousands, they want me to ask you urgently and orally, when are we going to get our subsidies as farmers suffering from severe drought? Now that we have a good rainy year, people want to augment their cattle, but you are withholding their money. Why are you withholding our money?
So, Honorable Member, what is the question? Why is the Minister withholding the money, or when?
She has heard the question.
No.
She has heard.
No, the presiding officer has to rule whether she answers or not, and you can't just say she has heard the question. What was the question?
The presiding officer can choose to ignore a member.
No, the Honorable Member just asked.
The question is very simple.
Yeah.
When will the Ministry of Agriculture make its commitment by paying out subsidies to farmers that lost cattle during the drought period? We have received good rainy seasons now. People want to augment their stock numbers, but the government or the ministry is not forthcoming paying out the subsidies. We just want to know. It's not a question that needs to be written. The minister is a very qualified and competent person.
Okay, honorable member, you are now out of order. The issue of notifying a question is not about the competency of the minister. It's about the procedures of the House. So please, that part is out of order, and I rule it out. But I will give you the benefit of the doubt and ask the minister whether she is able to answer the question spontaneously. I rule the other ones out of order.
Speaker is becoming too strict.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Benami, for the question. This is a question that is very important indeed. And when the answers are provided, we need to make sure we are accurate.
Very good.
We need to know how many farmers are we talking about, where are they, where are the delays in the processes, and therefore, I beg your indulgence for me to go back and consult with the people and come back and provide a correct answer. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. That's fair enough, really. This is a very important issue, but I want to implore the honorable members again. Importance does not determine the manner of asking the question. It's the agency. There was no opportunity for a member to pre-notify the question without some harm being done to the national interest. But we cannot just think of something to ask when it's question time and say agent oral question. So the Honorable Minister would respond. Yes, thank you. Now, Honorable members, where is that rule on dressing code? Front desk. I want to remind the Honorable members, please, that we have a dressing code. The other day, when the Right Honorable Prime Minister was reminded about his overall, he was so polite that he took the next opportunity to go and change. Yeah, so the dressing code is elaborately defined, and I would like to remind the honorable members that are not complying, and I see one honorable member there, and I know that he knows who he is, that the honorable member must comply to the dressing code. Honorable Ampanda, with the cap and the jeans. Yes, Honorable Ampanda, the dressing code does not comply. Okay, so now, on which point? So what point are you raising on? On the ruling? On the ruling?
The point of privilege.
Okay, honorable member.
I really fail to understand the issue of the dressing code. Like, should I dress like an European or like an African? No, this is not myself. It's by force. I'm forced to dress like this by this house, by the rules. So I think we must relook at this rule. As long as the dressing code doesn't invite other issues, it doesn't show nakedness of a member.
You are out of order. The rules are binding on us until they have been amended. And the rules, the way that they are put, they are unambiguous. It's very clear what is not allowed. So I'm done with that ruling.
73.
Yeah, 73. That says Rule 73, Parliamentary Decorum, 73.4. It says 73, members must always keep the order and decorum of the House, and it goes on. And then it says, for purposes of Sub-Rule 2, Sub-Rule 2, in regard to a dressing code, for a male member, that dressing code means a formal executive suit or a pair of long trousers, a shirt with or without a necktie and jacket, a traditional attire, or a safari suit with long or short sleeve. Then it goes on for female members. So it means that the caps, for example, are not allowed. The jeans are not allowed. I think that's very clear. We can't have that discussion. Now, Honorable Thomas.
Thank you very much. I also, I'm feeling uncomfortable. Because some of us, we are sitting and observe what is going on in the House. It's only that observing what is going on in the House, but we want also to hear what is to see the proper order. I don't want to address you, Honorable Speaker, but I see unfairness. Really,
Honorable Member, on what point are you rising?
I'm on the point of privilege. Can I have time to speak?
Yeah, no, I was just asking you for clarity. On what point is the Honorable Member rising?
It says on point of privilege.
Yeah. So, to make a statement. No, the Honorable Member is trying to argue with the presiding officer on a ruling. The presiding officer made a ruling. The Honorable Member gets up and says he thinks that the presiding officer is being unfair. In other words, arguing with the presiding officer on a ruling. The rules are very clear that when a ruling is made, there is no debate on it.
The rule of 86.
No, you can have a right of privilege, but not to argue the ruling of the presiding officer.
No, I'm not arguing.
Yeah, you are arguing.
I'm not arguing, I'm helping. If we cannot now help the speaker, now and then there is no
okay, can you make your point clearer so that you don't go to the issue of you think the ruling is unfair?
And uncomfortable and unfair.
What specifically is it, Honorable Member? What is it?
If you are too much restricting on the opposition party,
Honorable Member.
Whenever the others are disturbing, you are not speaking anything.
Honorable Member, you are not pointing to anything.
What is that?
Honorable Member. Honorable respected member. Can the Honorable Member please, Honorable Member, may you please take your seat? You have made your point, but you are not correct in the point that you have made. So if there is an issue that is of concern to you, cite the issue. But you can't just get up and say the presiding officer is unfair to the opposition. That's a generalized statement that is unsubstantiated, and it comes after a ruling, attempting to debate with the presiding officer on a ruling. Yeah, so no, thank you, Honorable. No, I think I have given you the opportunity. Please, Honorable members, let's proceed. Notices of motions. Notices of motions? None? Okay, Honorable Haikola. Yes.
Okay, honorable members, honorable speaker, the National Youth Services, NYS, plays an important role in promoting discipline, patriotism, life skills, and national unity amongst the Namibian youth. Youth unemployment disconnects from national development agenda, and a lack of soft and vocational skills continue to pose challenges for Namibia's social and economic progress. NYS training provides a platform for character building, civic responsibility, leadership development, and vocational training. I hereby give notice that on Wednesday, the 2nd July 2025, I shall move that the Government of Republic of Namibia resolves that the participation in the NYS be made compulsory for all Namibians aged 18 to 25. Furthermore, to develop a phased implementation plan for school leavers and unemployed youth, prioritizing inclusion, gender equality, and regional representation. Additionally, for the government to explore funding mechanism and public-private partnership to support compulsory NYS initiatives without placing an undue strain on the national budget. I further move that the motion be referred to the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Education, Youth, Civic Relations, and Community Development. I so move, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Can the Honorable Member please table the motion? Can the Honorable Member please table the motion? Honorable Esther Haikola. Yes, no further notice of motions. Ministerial statements? Okay, Honorable Minister of Finance.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, as always, I need to deliver good news to this August House. And I'm about to deliver one. This one will be talking to the amendment of Pension Fund Regulation 43 of the Pension Fund Act 1956. Okay, I stand before this August House really to brief this August House and through this August House the public out there on the amendment of Pension Fund Regulation 43 of the Pension Fund Act of 1956. Honorable members, as a result of consultations between the government, the NAMFISA and GIPF, we have then endorsed the implementation of the pension-backed housing loan scheme. Thank you. This initiative, among other initiatives that the government is implementing, is really part of government's commitment to improve access to decent and affordable housing, particularly for civil servants who are unable to meet conventional bank loan requirements. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, under this scheme, members of the GIPF, both in the proclaimed and unproclaimed areas, will be able to use a portion of their accumulated pension savings as collateral for home loans. This facility may be used to, and I'm saying may be used to, among others, right? Purchase residential property or land intended for housing, construct or renovate a dwelling, settle an existing home loan, or improve basic housing conditions. The Pension Fund Act of 1956, as amended, allows a pension fund to provide loans to its members for housing purposes, like I have said, in either proclaimed or unproclaimed areas. The government is finalizing administrative arrangements with GIPF and the payroll systems to ensure seamless implementation. Civil servants will soon then receive further communications from GIPF and their respective ministries with regard to the application process for them then to access that money, or those monies. For the purpose of then Section 19, 5B, subsection 3, or Roman 3, of the Pension Fund Act 1956, the rate of interest is equal to the sum of the sum of the repo rate that is judged by the Bank of Namibia plus additional 2.5%. That's per annum, with effect, of course, the date that the Gazette will be out, hopefully by the end of this week. We recognize the right to shelter as a fundamental human right. The implementation of this scheme marks a step forward in tackling housing inequality and empowering our public servants to own homes and live with dignity. We thank all stakeholders for their collaborations and encourage those ones who are going to participate in this scheme to borrow responsibly and continue to engage in financial planning. Together we build a better Namibia, one home at a time. I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable members, it's break time now, and I see there is another minister asking for the floor to speak. Can we rise for the break of 15 minutes, and then we come back and we deal with this issue and listen to the statement? Okay, for 15 minutes.
You're watching Initiative Africa.
Here it is, a museum that talks about the presence of the African experience.
Your weekly magazine featuring Africa on the move through smart innovations and initiatives that work.
It's always a pleasure to put a smile on the children's faces.
Get ready for the ultimate culinary showdown, where the next generation of chefs takes center stage.
Yeah, sometimes I want something like that feels like home cooked.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also want something there's some jive, man.
Boys go head to head to prove their culinary skills. Who will impress our judges? Tune in to find out, only on NBC2.
Get ready for the most electrifying sports event of the year. It is the 2025 NBC Battle of All, happening at the Aries Primary School Sports Field on the 5th and 6th of September 2025, and it's going to be massive. Whether you are kicking goals, landing net shots, smashing spikes, throwing perfect darts, or going full force in tug of war, this is your battlefield. Gather your squad and register now for soccer, netball, volleyball, dart, and the all-out classic tug of war. But don't wait, registration closes on the 22nd of August 2025. For more information, contact Adolf Chivinga at 081-320-9962 or send an email at achivinga@nbc.na or call Gabriela Olibile at 0812-809137 or send an email at golibile@nbc.na. Bragging rights are on the line. Pride, passion, power. It's the NBC Battle of All 2025. Be there or be told about the event. Let the battle begin.
Get ready to lace up and hit the road with a purpose. The NBC Marathon is back, bigger, better, and even faster. Officially timed by finish time, so every second counts. This is a qualifier for the world-renowned Two Oceans and Comrades Marathon. Over 150,000 Namibian dollars in prize money to be won. The first 1,000 registered and paid-up runners will receive an exclusive t-shirt in their goodie bag. So whether you are chasing a personal best or a spot on the podium, the NBC Marathon is your race to conquer. Don't wait. Register now on www.nbc.na. Your pace, your moment.
Here in the heart of Namibia, where red dunes meet ocean blues, where sunsets write poetry across the sky, a new chapter is about to begin. From Swakopmund's breeze to vintage rhythm, we don't just play for points, we play with purpose, with pride, with heart. In 2025, we welcome you, Region 5, 10 nations strong, not just to compete, but to connect, to grow, to shine. Our streets know struggle. Our people, they know strength. And our youth, they know exactly what it means to rise. So step into our home. Feel the beat of Africa beneath your feet. Let the cheers echo through Independence Stadium. Let your story unfold with every race, every goal, every try. This is for you. This is Namibia. This is your time. Own the moment.
In a time where personal truth often overrides biblical truth, many young people are falling into the trap of misinterpreting God's word to justify desires, lifestyles, or decisions that go against his original intent.
No one wants to understand the Bible for what it was intended to say. Everyone wants a new meaning.
You hear or you watch a little reel that talks about the word and you think, oh, okay, I've indulged and I've engulfed the word for the day. But the explanation that that person is giving you of that scripture could be misinterpreted.
To read scripture for me to correct Nangola or just to preach for the sake of preaching, I will definitely take the scripture out of context because there's something that I'm after, which is just for self-gratification.
The highly anticipated Season 4 of the next Makaisa Star is finally here. Embark on an exciting journey with us as we uncover the incredible raw talent of Namibia and transform it into Makaisa stardom. Don't miss the premiere of the next Makaisa Star competition on Saturday, the 5th of July 2025 at 9 p.m. Proudly presented by San Velvicia Music Production in partnership with the National Theatre of Namibia, the National Arts Council of Namibia, Namibian Broadcasting Corporation, and NBC+. Sponsored by Namport. Tune in every Saturday starting on the 5th of July 2025 for the next Makaisa Star Season 4, only on NBC2.
Hi, I'm Beulah Boyce-Bierkes, NBC Public Relations Manager, and I enjoy watching NBC Plus at home and on the go. Want to get some ice cream, Daisy?
My name is Jacqueline Gertze. I am the General Manager for the Local Organizing Committee for the Region 5 Youth Games, Namibia 2024. The beautiful thing about the Region 5 Youth Games is that is your biggest multi-sport event in the SADC region. From our side as the Local Organizing Committee and from the desk of the General Manager, you know, all systems are running. And as a country, we can with confidence say we are ready to welcome 9 other nations into Namibia as early as from 29th of June. For the first time also, this is the 11th edition, but for the first time, Special Olympics is part of the multiple sports event such as this, which is the Region 5 Youth Games. So inclusivity stands out as a very big highlight. And then also, not only inclusivity in terms of special athletes, athletes of disability, but also women, girls and boys competing in different sports codes with equal opportunity. It's a very big moment for communities and the nations to gel, to come together, get to know each other, and really represent the African Union vision. The main factor here is sports infrastructure development to enable everybody to have access to sports. Namibia always promoted the active participation of young people in arts, music, sport, and so on. But one thing was missing, and that is that we don't have access to sports facilities for everybody that loves the game. These games is basically creating that. We are representing the government of Namibia. When they speak, they refer to boys and girls, able and disabled. There's no moment in these games, and over the times that I have lived in the sport, that I have seen leadership speaking with the same voice in terms of inclusivity. And that is, for me, the best space to work in, and that inspires me a lot.
Hi, my name is CJ, Absolute Rugby producer and NBC Sport presenter, and I'm here to show you how to subscribe to NBC Plus. Step 1. Open your browser and search for www.nbcplus.na. Step 2. Sign in by entering your personal information, including your email address. Step 3. Your password will be sent to your email address. Step 4. Enter your password and enjoy NBC television or listen to your favorite NBC radio stations. NBC Plus, it's global.
Stay informed and inspired with the Daily Roundup with Nina, your ultimate weekday destination for the latest news, in-depth interviews, and compelling stories from Namibia and around the world. From breaking headlines and expert insights to special features that highlight impactful initiatives, we bring you everything you need to stay connected to the issues that matter the most. Don't miss it. Your news, your world, every day.
Good day and a warm welcome to your 4 o'clock news highlights here on NBC with me, Reinhilde Ausiku. Thank you for joining us. We start with economic matters. The governor of Bank of Namibia, Johannes Kavagab, says inflation in the country is under control. He told members of parliament that headline inflation went down in the first 5 months of 2025, attributed to lower costs in transport and housing.
Inflation has slowed
and we are projecting headline inflation at 3.9% for 2025. Global growth is slowing. There's low demand for oil, and transport inflation expected also going forward to be low. Global growth is projected slow in 2025. Namibian growth is expected to marginally increase due to anticipated improvements in gold and uranium or non-diamond sector and the secondary industries. Current account is expected to ease this year. And key risks to the domestic economy include trade disruptions due to protectionist trade policies, low demand for natural diamonds, and fiscal strain from reduced revenues that could lead to higher debt.
Minister of International Relations and Trade, Selma Ashipala Musavi, says discussions for the extension of the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA, which is set to expire in September, are ongoing. Speaking on the sidelines of the US-Africa Business Summit in Luanda, Angola, Ashipala Musavi acknowledged the uncertainty surrounding AGOA's future, but emphasized Africa's active engagement with the United States regarding the tariff-free access arrangement. The trade agreement grants eligible sub-Saharan African countries duty-free access to the U.S. market for various products, boosting trade, investment, and economic growth. Namibia has been a beneficiary of AGOA since its inception in the year 2000. And now on to health matters. The Ministry of Health and Social Services has made tremendous progress in the pharmaceutical service provision, having improved access to medicine with 85% of the essential items available at public facilities. This was revealed by the Executive Director of Health and Social Services Ministry while delivering a speech on behalf of the Minister during the annual National Pharmaceutical Services Forum in the capital. Although the Health Ministry faces various challenges such as resource limitations, changing disease patterns and regulatory hurdles, it is actively shaping the future of pharmaceutical services in the country. One of its most recent achievements is the procurement of HPV vaccine, which is a first for Namibia, signaling a major step forward in the fight against cervical cancer. And that ends your news highlights at this hour. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more programming.
Please continue with the question to the statement.
I'm very well behaved.
Yes, you're very good, and I like that.
I'm not debating your ruling.
Okay.
I don't agree with your ruling, but I abide by your ruling.
Very
I'm
good.
just assisting you.
Thank you.
So that I don't have to stand up and waste our time.
No, but you are out of order if you do that. You will be out of order when you do that.
Then we're all together.
Yeah, you'll be out of order if you do it this way. For now, you are doing well. I like the fact that you complied. Let's just proceed, Honorable Member.
Okay, but I'll raise that issue when they come. Minister, it's just that these things, I was in good spirit before these things just started.
No, just be in good spirit.
I'm very happy and I'm very excited. Yeah, because as I was saying when the speaker was out, these are the types of initiatives that we want. Then we can see the country is moving, not just stories of 1970 something. So we through you, pass our congratulations to the government for this important intervention. It's been long coming. So at least our money is not just going to be building South Africa and other places. It's also going to be working for our people. I would assume, because I wanted to, you were saying you are busy working with modalities, but there's something that has been agreed. So first I was thinking, okay, we'll wait to see the details. But you're already talking about repo plus 2. Yeah, meaning there's a formula there, which is something that we need to be able to understand, because part of the model that we're proposing is that when you pay interest, where is the interest going to go? Because you are taking the loan against your pension. So the interest must not be going to the model is not like that. The interest is supposed to go to the capital amount that you are repaying, and the interest all goes to you, to reposition where the fund was. But what we have seen that is basically happening is that once those functionaries of GIPF have agreed, you know what they went to do? They started already trying to organize First Capital. First Capital is already busy advertising as an implementing agency for this thing. So we have not agreed that it's necessary for there to be an implementing agency. What is so sophisticated about people to be able to get the money directly from GIPF? Yeah? So I just need clarification there on that First Capital. Why First Capital, and where is the interest going, interest payment? Because we suspect that First Capital, the idea is that for them to be benefiting from the interest, then they will just be like a bank. But the interest must go back to your pension, and the money must go back to your pension as a whole, instead of it benefiting the middleman. And last, I'm not sure whether Minister we are together, the speaker, on that
I'm
point.
sure she didn't indicate.
Yeah. So is that repo plus 2? I'm trying to understand that, but also where the interest is supposed to go, particularly when we see the behavior of First Capital and what they've been doing. Last is, sometimes these good intentions are always abused. The thorough checks and balances, so that people don't take money and they go and build shebeens. You see, for them to be able to see the necessary documentation. And this is what has happened with the Ministry of Defense, with all these projects. 200,000 people go and buy Danki Botswana. When you look at the file, there's apparently a guest house that is owned by Tatenekunje Doshitutuma, but when you go there, there's no guest house. And we have to be very careful, because this is also what could likely happen. And all our efforts, we've been insulted, we say we don't have respect of elders, do be in vain, and the good intentions. What are the measures to avoid this abuse? And seeing already the abuse is already happening with this First Capital. I'm sure, I hope I'm wrong in my question.
You are out of your time now.
Yeah, because Speaker, you ate 1 minute, you're just cooling me.
Okay, I'll add 1 minute now, just to the question.
So that abuse, you can see already where it's likely to come. From the people, the borrower. Sometimes people say, why do human beings need the law? Because human beings also need to be restrained against themselves. Yeah? So you need also to make laws to prevent this very same person who's a beneficiary. Yeah? So, because if we do this, it basically means that if you can get 300,000 and you work in Oshakati, you can easily build your house at a village. You don't need to go and live in town. So this is a very important intervention that could work and assist. So we just need to see those clarifications. We don't want to be celebrating like how we always celebrate. We have a woman president. We don't want just to celebrate. We want to see the details. What is repo plus 2? Interest, is it going to this middleman, or is it going directly to the fund? And what are the mechanisms that we have done in order to avoid abuse? But otherwise, thank you very much.
Thank you. Honorable Amtenya.
Honorable Speaker, I also rise to compliment the Minister of Finance for this implementation of the pension-backed home loan scheme, which is really one of the bold and people-centered financial innovation by our government. That is the SWAPO party-led government. Now, Omake to that one. So honestly, we have many civil servants who served our nation faithfully, but yet many could not retire with decent homes because they could not obviously afford to buy or purchase homes or build homes due to poor credit histories and lack of sufficient collateral. So this is quite exciting, Honorable Minister, that even both GIPF members in the proclaimed and non-proclaimed can access, can be able to actually get loans backed up by their GIPF accumulated funds, at least to even develop, renovate and build houses even in rural areas. That I think it's an innovation that will stimulate the construction industry and obviously boost the local construction material supply and create jobs as well within our society. I also just want to add on what Honorable Mpanda has said, that this innovation should come along with clear regulations and financial literacy as well, and I'm still repeating that, financial literacy that I addressed yesterday, so that we protect our borrowers from defaulting these loans until retirement, where the pension or borrowers will end up, taking home a little, because then, a backed up fund has to be taken from his or her package. So that those two areas need to be really checked. However, our borrowers must be given proper financial literacy so that they understand what they are doing and ensure that they oblige to the payment methods. Otherwise, this is a good innovation that we should all be proud of as a nation, as a government. Thank you very much, Honorable
Thank
Speaker.
you very much. Honorable Aupindi.
Thank you, Speaker. Just in my short intervention, it is very progressive, because I think for a long time, when it comes to financial related funding, the rural communities have been really left behind. And the fact that it's a policy that's going to be cutting across the whole country, we commend especially your office and all the other stakeholders like NAPU that have fought for so many years, and many other activists, to really get issues there. Even the Honorable Swart Boy once in one of the debates was actually proposing something similar. But I want to just 4 little things that I want to take up within that good framework that you have explained. One is what Honorable Professor Mpanda said on the 2.5% above the repo rate. What actually do you mean there? Because my understanding is that you are taking somebody's money into GIPF. It's their money in the first place that they are borrowing against. And then you now come in again, charge them repo rate plus 2.5%. Maybe the formula must just be explained as to what is happening there. There could be logic. And then, what about civil servants with existing bonds, for example? Do they then qualify within that framework to maybe transfer them and get them refinanced? Those are clear things that are going to change, I think, people's lives. And then the third is the credit standing of a civil servant. Surely because this is their money, and surely maybe they even have a bad credit record. But because this is their money, and you are sure that 100% they are paying their pension, and surely they have an existing pension with JIPF, they cannot be, no other credit standing can be used against the civil servants. So, and then lastly, maybe just, and I know you said there are still some mechanisms that have been worked on. I just wanted to hear whether there is any portion of that pension that you are looking at in terms of, are you looking at what amount? Are there caps within the policy, or as long as the person qualifies and it feels within their pension, what is on their pension in terms of balances, they can take out that amount. But I also do agree with the honorable members who have expressed the fact that there have to be some care being taken care of in terms of maybe credit counseling, and also to ensure that the actual purpose is served. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Shitana.
Just to also congratulate the minister and also to urge that since we are at that stage, we have that culture of taking advantage of our people in every institution. So I'm really hoping that since we now have that actor that give access to money, please, we must not take advantage of our people through this. Because I'm already seeing that those big mafias, they are already planning how they are going to chop the money. And it's very bad to our people.
The vultures.
The intention for bringing it is good, but it must never be taken advantage of. Number two, it's when are we going to give credit where it's due? Just to say thank you to who and who were on the forefront of what become.
Yes.
It's a fact.
Yes, it's a fact.
Just a symbol to say thank you for fighting for this. When are we going to do something for these are our people. This is our people. And the reason they are doing it, they are not doing it for the sake of that they want to benefit. They want a better Namibia.
Yes.
And we are always failing just to recognize it.
Thank you.
So please, we must give the credit where it's due. I think
100.
Okay, Honorable Swartboy, thank you, Honorable Stana.
Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, I want to commend the Minister of Finance for this project, which is one that many of us have been speaking about. It eventually has come in for years. It would be good in areas like Gochas and Gibeon where there is village council land, but it's not bankable. Now somebody can get a loan and build their house. So that's good. But it should not be charged any interest amount. And if it's charged, then you must tell us what is it that the GIPF is projecting would be the uptake as a percentage of the total value of GIPF. Because it seems to me you want to reboot the book of GIPF by using people to take early loans. Would it be morally and legally correct to reboot GIPF with your own money after you've taken a loan? So that's one aspect. The other aspect is that before he retired, I went to sit with David Nyoma. And one of the things he said is that a couple of Herero-speaking Namibians visited him on precisely this matter and asked him why housing is a priority. They said, we want to buy cattle. Can you open it up so that we acquire livestock and make sure that we can already strengthen ourselves for the pension? Because a house in a rural area, we've already constructed those houses and so on. So I'm thinking that there must be a better market segmentation done within the target market so that there is an opportunity for people to space in and space out the type of portfolio that they would rather have instead of everything going to housing and so on and so forth. That's my short contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Kandarodu.
Yeah, thank you so much, Speaker. The Minister of Finance, thanks for the submission. A very valuable proposal. It just needs to be fixed, panel beated. On the issue of interest rate, I propose zero interest rate. Because what GIPF is proposing, how do I pay interest on my own money? They want to take this money and give it over to the unlisted investors that are making money from our pension. Trading, most of the unlisted investors are South Africans, they're foreigners, let me put it like that. So that's where you want to take this extra money through the interest. So it must be an interest-free loan scheme. And then it must be splitted over a period that is left until you get to pension. And then it must also tackle the issue of the appreciation of the value or the mortgage, let me say the mortgage. Because people have a problem, why should we pay a vehicle for 5 years and a house for 20 years? Looking into appreciation, depreciation and appreciation issues. Yes, we respect that. But now, if I owe the bank or my balance on my home loan is 300,000, GIPF must be able to give me 300,000 so that I can settle off the debts at the bank and pay off my house. And the 6,000 or the 7,000 or the 8,000 that was my monthly payment to the bank, then I can start to finance my life forward. So we must look also in that line. And also echoing the proposal of the Honorable Member, it must not be confined to houses. It must be confined to any other valuable assets that can generate income, but through a very proper monitoring and evaluation. Of course, cattle, goats, sheep, that's obvious. And cement. So some people value money through cement, and I value money through cattle. So let's also open up so that we can assist our community to get out of poverty. I so submit.
Thank you. Honorable Minister now has the floor to respond.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Members. Thank you very much for your contributions. And I will try to respond to the questions and again to acknowledge the inputs that we have just provided as members of this August House. I will start with Honorable Stana's one because that's the easiest one. We should give credit to where it is due. In fact, it is true because we are giving credit to the government. No, but because government is also appreciative of the inputs on the implementation of its policies, its laws. I also say thank you. That's why I said to all the stakeholders who contributed to the topic. Because if you could recall, if you go back to 2018 when that regulation was passed, really, that was being advocated for. Yes. So that's why I'm saying the first credit goes to government. The third credit, I jumped the second one. The third credit goes to all the stakeholders. But what is critical now for all of us is really to encourage all our civil servants, all our borrowers, to make use of this opportunity and to use this money for the purpose that is intended. I know there are already suggestions to say we should open up. Perhaps it's good for us to start first with housing. And we see how it is going. And because this is a government that listens to the inputs that comes from the public, we can then discuss that at one of the points. Now, with regard to the interest, yes, it is repo rate plus 2.5. Now, if we have not withdrawn this money as borrowers, repo plus 2.5%. If we had not withdrawn this money was going to earn an interest. Now when you withdraw it and you have to pay it back, there's a gap if you don't pay interest on it. But you want the civil servants, for now I dwell on civil servants, to be put at the same stage as if they had not accessed this pension of theirs, hence the interest rate. But there's also an administration fee, right? Yeah? So that repo is inclusive of admin fee and, of course, the interest rate for this money to grow, if I can put it that way. So we are good on that one. It cannot be zero. It cannot be zero rate in terms of the interest rate. All right? Then I have already indicated that for now, let us not open up this to other sectors. For now, we go for housing, and I believe we are good with that. There was a question as to whether you can just go and borrow the whole amount of your pension. No. The regulation says 33%, up to 33% of your money that GIPF has in this case. The measures that will need to be put in place, yes, those ones will be put in place, and the Office of the Prime Minister will be the custodian of the implementation of this scheme. There will be an MOU that will be signed between GIPF and the Office of the Prime Minister, so that we again do not put the civil servants in debt, right? So what will happen, this money that will be agreed to be paid by the borrower will be deducted from the monthly salary of this civil servant or this employee. And for that, it's not a cash loan. So that is that. And once again, I just want to appreciate the comments by this House. And thank you very much for your contributions.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Now I saw the Honorable Minister of Gender Equality was also asking for the floor to make a ministerial statement, and she now has the floor. Yeah, no, when the member has responded, we are not going to allow further questions because to the next statement. Oh, okay, the minister can proceed, then you have the floor. Oh, one thing you raised was not responded to. Okay.
How do they not listen well?
So the question is, first capital was not responded to, and also because we want to understand the regulations are not done, they are busy already advertising as if they have gotten a tender. Now, it wasn't responded. The other thing that was not responded to, I can see now that the money the interest that you pay, I understand that you are withdrawing the money. If you didn't withdraw it, it was going to accumulate interest. Now, say we accept the interest. The question is, because I'm speaking from a model that has worked with the Unipoly, the pension where I had borrowed for that purpose, the interest that I'm paying, it goes for the same logic, for the money to put back a civil servant to the same position. But you now have explained that included in the model is an admin fee. I guess maybe when you answer first capital, it would indicate there's that admin fee. Okay, let's assume we accept that admin fee. The other remaining amount of the interest, where is it going to? Is it to GIPF or is it to the borrower? Because the logic is to put you where you're supposed to be. Those two parts speak.
Very good. Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Panda, for reminding me those two questions. At First Capital, I'm not sure how they have already started to advertise and so forth. What I know is that GIPF has Kulen, it's a subsidiary. First Capital, I'm not sure whether they are also a subsidiary of GIPF. But what I understood is that they were going to make use of Kuleni, which is a subsidiary of GIPF. And it's the same Kuleni that also administers the pension fund of members of parliament and other office bearers. I was just answering, okay? And then, that is that. Okay, now on the interest, part of that goes to the admin fee, right? Admin fee. The rest is going to the employees' money. It's to grow. It's to grow your money that you have borrowed. So it goes going back to GIPF. If I can put that way. No, it's to the person whose pension is administered by GIPF. It's going to your account, if I can put it that way. It's to your account as an employee because it's your money. It's going to grow your pension. Are we together? Oh, of course. Yes. It's the same, Honorable Speaker. It's not a dialogue, but I just wanted to explain.
Yes, okay, thank you.
On monthly basis, government contributes to a pension for the employee. And the employee also contributes, and this money goes to GIPF. GIPF is managing it wherever they invest it, and it's accruing interest. It's growing. It's the same. I'm now paying back that what I have borrowed from GIPF. It is still to grow my amount that GIPF is administering. So it's going to the account of the employee, if I can put that.
Yes, thank you. I just want to say on this issue, because of the importance of the matter, the Minister of Finance can arrange for GIPF to brief the members at a special session where they can make a presentation and we can ask. Because now we have to, there are certain things that only the GIPF as administrators of the fund would be able to explain. And we will also have enough time to pose questions and make arguments. And then when we come back here, we are able to say, we are happy with this or we are not happy with it on the basis of understanding. Now the last person is Honorable Karonda, because there is a limit as to how many people should be allowed to ask questions after ministerial statement. But because of the importance of the issue, I don't really want to cut him out. So, Honorable Member, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Just two questions. One, the recognized unions, are they involved in this? Because Honorable Minister has just said that this thing will be signed between the Office of the Prime Minister and GIPF. Where in the equation are the unions involved? The other question is, if the fund is one of defined benefit, are we sure that those defined benefits will not be affected by this arrangement? Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Minister? Minister, you have the floor to respond.
No, thank you. All the stakeholders were consulted. I can put it that way. Now, the defined benefit, maybe I did not get the question very well. In which way is the benefit going to be affected?
I think he wanted an assurance that if a member exercises the right to borrow, will their benefits as defined not be affected because they have borrowed? No, you have to get up, Honorable Member, here.
Your benefits remains.
Yeah. You can get up and clarify your query. Honorable Member, you can get up and clarify your query.
Is that what I was? I'm being persuaded to ask, what about us? Parliamentarians. But Honorable Minister, you see, what we know is that the point that every employee enters, or participates in the fund, he or she already knows exactly what it is that GIPF will pay at retirement. Now that amount is fixed because it is, what is it called? It's defined. Now the question is, with this exercise, is that amount intact? Is it guaranteed? Or will it somewhat be affected by this? And if so, how so?
Yes, Honorable Member, the Honorable Minister. Thank you.
And thank you very much. It remains the same, so it will not be affected. That is why all these arrangements are made to ensure that what you would have accrued if this scheme was not in place is the same. So I so submit you.
Very good, thank you. That is why, yeah, so that's why I was saying, based on the question of the two honorable members there, I can see the interest. So if the members have an interest to get more clarity, they should invite GIPF through the minister to make a presentation at a workshop. Okay? Now, Honorable Kantema Gaumas.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. I take the floor today to appraise the honorable members on the National Gender Equality and Equity Policy. I remember when I tabled the vote motivation for vote 32, one of the activities that we put in this year's financial year is to implement and to operationalize the National Gender Equality and Equity Policy that was launched on the 7th of March. Therefore, I take this floor to appraise the members in terms of what that policy entails. The policy, as I previously indicated, was launched on the 7th of March in the vibrant region of Kunene in Opuo. This policy was approved by Cabinet under Decision 18/24.10.23/002. It's a beacon of hope guiding Namibia towards a future where gender equality and equity is not just an aspiration, but a tangible reality. The policy is more than a policy, it's a dynamic movement to consolidate our gains and tackle the stubborn inequalities that persist. It's a comprehensive roadmap that's designed to address emerging gender issues and to close identified gaps, steering us towards a gender-just society. The aim of the policy, honorable members, is to consolidate the gender equality gains and address the persistent gender inequalities and emerging gender-related issues, as well as implement the gender gaps identified during the review of the National Gender Policy, which was implemented during the period 2010 to 2020. Now, the third policy serves as a tool to guide and to direct planning, programming, implementation, monitoring, and evaluating of process of national, regional, community, and sectoral development programs and projects. The policy further provides a framework for institutionalizing gender mainstreaming at all levels and in all sectors, including allocating adequate resources to achieve its goals. This policy will be our compass, guiding national, regional, and community efforts with precision and passion, enabling full participation in every sphere of life. Imagining a Namibia where discrimination and gender-based violence is a relic of the past, where every woman, man, girl, and boy, alongside persons with disabilities and marginalized communities, enjoy equal rights and opportunity. The policy is guided by the following principles: gender equality and equity, human rights-based approach, leaving no one behind, with specific emphasis to the gender needs for women, men, girls, and boys, including persons living with disabilities and marginalized communities. Accountability for gender mainstreaming. At this point, I'm pleased to inform the honorable members that a week ago, Cabinet approves the implementation of the gender responsive planning and budgeting guidelines, and an MOA in this regard, a memorandum of agreement, will be entered to next week with NIPAM to strengthen the capacity in the various OMAs, including parliamentarians, who will then be provided with the training to ensure that when we are interrogating our budget, we do assess how is it responding to the gender needs, gender specific, and the gender requirements that we need to mainstream in our budgets to ensure that we provide financial resources. Affirmative action is also one of the principles. Notwithstanding gender equality and equity, this policy acknowledges that special measures are necessary to address historical imbalances and to advance those who were previously disadvantaged. Resource mobilization and gender-responsive planning and budgeting, as I mentioned. Male engagement and participation will be one of the principles. I recall during our discussion, there were issues that were raised in terms of the male or the boy child being left behind. As a ministry, we have recognized the role that men and boys can play in mitigating gender-based violence, violence against children, HIV and AIDS, and promoting gender equality and equity, which is very important. We have developed a male engagement strategy to this effect to ensure that we do change that narrative. Partnerships, collaboration, and coordination will be also one of the guiding principles. Evidence-based approach, adaptability and innovation, whole of government approach. Honorable Speaker, honorable members of Parliament, the policy encompasses 12 thematic areas, and I will not dwell into these thematic areas. I undertake to circulate the policy. We are busy printing booklets of this policy that we will then make available to the members to acquaint yourself and to familiarize yourself with the policy. The implementation action plan is also entailed in the policy that will be spanning from 2025 to 2035 as our strategic framework, translating objectives into actionable steps. A midterm review after 5 years, that will be in 2030, will be conducted to ensure that we remain on track. Honorable members, in conclusion, the Ministry of Gender Equality and Child Welfare will lead the charge, but it is a collective responsibility. And here I would like to remind the Parliament, as a key stakeholder that's listed as part of the institution that will implement the policy, that your role as parliamentarians and responsibilities is to ensure the promulgation of gender-sensitive, gender-responsive laws that promote gender equality and equity. Every sector, every organization, and every individual must play their part. Together, we will build a Namibia that exemplifies true gender equality. As I conclude, lastly, I invite, as the invitation was extended, that there will be a workshop hosted for women in politics that the ministry is driving, that will take place on the 14th to the 17th of July in Swakopmund. These are some of the initial steps where we are providing and strengthening capacity for women in politics and women in parliament. The call to action is clear. Let us rise to meet it. Thank you. I so submit, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Honorable. I will now recognize Honorable Ampanda.
Yeah, Speaker, I want to make a disclaimer that what I'm going to say might be a bit uncomfortable, but I think it needs to be raised. We are having a big problem with the hijacking of a gender and women empowerment agenda by perfumed women. You see? So all our efforts are just for perfumed women.
Honorable Member, what is perfumed?
I will explain. You said I mustn't have class. I would usually like to explain, but you said you want the gist of the concept.
Please give the gist.
Okay. You would see the conversation now is about women in parliament, women executive, women what. Who says we don't need women managers? You see. So gender and women empowerment hijacked by perfumed women for them to become CEOs, for them to become MD, for them to become ministers, for them to become presidents. But no one is talking about women. Why don't you have women in headmen in your same policy? Women as no, she said women in parliament. So all this conversation, as uncomfortable as it is, because we know very well when people are talking about women, they are not talking about necessarily my aunties who's unemployed and unemployable and disabled at the village. They are talking about perfumed women. The one that must go to the
honorable
UN.
member, that
my
one
time
is
not
a
done.
stereotyping of females
Perfumed women is a
in a manner
characterization.
that is unacceptable. It's unparliamentary.
No, we must have this conversation.
Honorable member,
the gist of it, Speaker.
I rule that one out, honorable member. You can not continue to characterize women as perfumed women.
Speaker, I'm explaining as uncomfortable as it is.
I heard you, but I have come to the conclusion.
Means. You didn't ask me what it means.
No,
what it
it's
means.
not. You explained it.
Perfumed
but
women
it's
means
unacceptable. It's unacceptable to characterize women in that way.
Okay, Speaker.
Yeah.
The problem that we have of women. So that's women fighting for position to be CEO, to be minister, to be president, and they are not concerned about our women there in the informal settlement who have been chased by city police there. It's all about becoming CEOs and becoming ministers. You know, these things of, no, we can't have a situation, women must not hijack
Honorable
the gender agenda. So we must talk about also, we are tired of women. Just women everywhere.
Point of order. Who is making the point of order? No one. Minister of Finance, you have the floor to make a point of order.
Honorable Speaker, with all due respect, don't even quote about the rule, because the member also just said women. How can we allow us to be referred to as women? No, he should withdraw that
Okay. Honorable members, I have ruled Honorable Ampanda out of order. He was out of order to refer to women as perfumed women. He was out of order to say women. He was also out of order to characterize the aspiration of women to ascend to positions of responsibilities in employment and in ownership of assets as some kind of unacceptable thing. There is a state law and state policies that advocate for that. So the honorable member is completely out of order. No, out here. You are out of order on that one. No. You are ruled out of order. You were wrong. This time you know you were wrong. You cannot say, you cannot, no there. I'm ruling. I gave you the floor to speak. Let me rule on this one. No matter what the intention was, the way that expression came out, it ridicules women as a segment. It does. I have ruled, and there are no further discussion on that one. No, we cannot have a discussion on that one. Now you don't have the floor. You finished. No. Even the privilege, you need to get a floor from the speaker. You are out of order, honorable. No. You are out of order. You are out of order, honorable member. You are out of order. You are out of order. That one is out of order. Now, I see Honorable Nekongo is asking for the floor. You have the floor, honorable member.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the Minister for a well-articulated statement. And I want to also contribute and perhaps maybe just to humble ask that our Ministry of Gender represent men and women, boys and girls. And I think I have uncomfortability as a deputy chair of the Gender Committee that we want to start a process of leaving other genders out. And we have done enough, yes, but I'm also interested that Parliament at one point must also start, and the Ministry must also start
a men parliamentary caucus for men, or perhaps we just coexist together and create one common group for all. The reason why a boy child nowadays is left behind is because we are empowering the girl child at the expense of other gender. So I'm just feeling that I appreciate that statement, but Comrade Minister, let's also look into that so that at the end of the day, we all coexist together. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Hengari.
Deputy Chair. Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I have two contributions. First, allow me to congratulate the Honorable Minister on the progress that is being made, especially with this particular policy on gender equality. One of the things that I would have loved to see, and I think this conversation, like Honorable Mpanda is saying, perhaps not in the right words or the politically correct words, these conversations must be brought down to the grassroots level. Let's have these conversations also with our aunts and aunties or mothers who are shopkeepers, those who work in homes as caretakers and so forth. I think it's also important that this conversation moves out of the boardroom. The second thing I wanted to say was I don't believe that men at this level are left out. At this level, I mean at parliamentary level. And let me explain, there's a reason I say that. In 2024, that was the first time in the history of this country that, in fact, we had a 50-50 representation in this House. But since, in fact, before then, the representation in this House was majority men compared to a minority of women. And that, again, has now shown up in this parliament again, where we have much more male representation as compared to women. So yes, at this level where most of us have access to internet or social media and news and resources and information, I don't think that the boy child is left out. But I do think, Honorable Nekongo, that the boy child that is left out does not have access to the internet, does not have access to information, does not have access to health centers, social centers where they can get help, does not have access to social groupings where they can have conversations about building business, getting into enterprise. So what I would have loved to see, in fact, if anything, I don't think, maybe there are women in this House that need to be workshopped on gender equality and being able to articulate yourself as a woman, whether you're an older woman or a young woman. But I think those conversations need to reach where they are needed. We need to take these conversations to the universities where there are young girls who are either getting involved in prostitution, getting involved with their lecturers for marks and so forth. Those conversations can happen at that point. But it would also be helpful at this point of engagement to bring along the men that are here. The Honorable Aprils, the Honorable Nekongo, on this workshop that is going to try and deconstruct their minds to stop thinking that this is a battle between the male and female gender, but rather it's a battle to carry everyone with us. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Sitana.
As we talk of gender, we have to be very, very careful. One, if we are to focus only that we must have women to be taken care of more than the young men, we might create a serious problem. One, all women need defenders. You need defense. You need protection from men. Listen, are not careful, the reason you see many suicide happening.
Honorable Member, there is a point of order. Okay. On what point is the Honorable Member rising? Yeah, I gave the floor. I want her to indicate what point she's rising on.
Speaker, I'm rising on the point that was just alluded to by this Honorable Member on the floor, to say we as women need defenders.
You don't?
Now, does the Honorable Member imply that we cannot defend ourselves, firstly as women? And does he also confirm that men are in fact the ones that are enemies of the women? If he says that only men can defend a woman, men are becoming the enemies of women. Can the Honorable just confirm what he is saying?
Yes, Honorable Shitana, you have the floor, please.
Yeah, no. I think she misunderstands what I mean. The Honorable Member, she can have her own contribution on that way, but I mean that men, they also need to be empowered. I call out for Honorable Nekongo saying that if we are to create women in parliament in this house, we must also create men in parliament.
Equality.
50-50. If we are to, it doesn't matter. We must do that. Otherwise, if we are not careful, I don't know where we'll end, but
suicide among boys.
I'm just telling that we must be careful when we are dealing with these things. So, Honorable Minister, I'm happy with the policy that you put there. I'm also on that committee on the gender, but we must be careful to deal with this too. It's very complicated because our people are really going through a lot because they feel like they are being neglected over a woman. So we must take them together. I thank you.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Shitana. Honorable Emmanuel. I didn't hear that. I don't know. Who said that? Yeah, I must say that I respect the way that Honorable Shitana conducted himself because he's always orderly. He listened to the presiding officer, very calm, never speak out of turn. That's very exemplary. I'm fair, you see, so that's why I allowed him to speak and I'll protect him. So let's imitate him and go ahead, Honorable Emmanuel. Yes, Honorable Member, you have the floor, please. Can you please let the Honorable Member express himself? Yes.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm a little bit under the weather, but notwithstanding, I decided that I should add my voice to, to the, in supporting the ministerial statement delivered by my colleague, the Minister of Gender and Child Welfare. I think if I listened very attentively, of which I would like to believe I did, the policy that she has announced is one that is titled Gender Equality and Equity Policy. There are two doing words in that policy: equality or equalization, as well as equating. So this policy is anchored fundamentally in Article 10 of the Namibian Constitution, seeking to provide equality between, or equalities of persons before law, regardless of their gender. So that's the first point that I seek to accentuate. The second noun which is speaking to equity is one that is ensuring or comparing that each one of the citizens, as they claim their share to equity, they get their fair and impartial share. Now, I couldn't see where an impression is being drawn that this specific policy seek only to protect women at all, and I think it's important that we remind ourselves of that. I listened very well also to the minister saying that it aims to improve and empower both women, men, girls, and boys. Now, it's important for us as lawmakers that in our contribution, to motions and or in response to ministerial statement, we remain within the contextual framework that has been provided so that we don't create wrong impressions out there. The third issue that I want to underscore, Honorable Speaker, is the one of the practicality that in implementations of this policy, it will have probably to be done in a segmented form, and how I understand then that the first intervention is one that is aiming to probably engage the women that are closer to the decision-making table, so that they can influence the implementation of the policy. That's why it's those that are cultured, those that are oriented in politics, so that they can then become a good messenger for this specific policy. And I would like to believe that it will then be phased out up to the point where it reaches the most remote corners of this country. I felt I should add that voice for what it's worth. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Kachingi Siwa.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Members. Allow me to thank the Minister for bringing this to Parliament, this important issue. But now my issue is that SWAPO Constitution is having a 50-50 representation in all positions of the party for all members to be represented in our positions. Now my question is that we are leaders here, and what about now the other parties? Allow me to finish.
Yeah, okay, you can make a point of order, Honorable. No, she has the right, she can make a point of order. Yes, you have the floor to make a point of order.
Let's look where we are.
Honorable Member, you may please take your seat for a moment. Let the Honorable Member make a point.
Speaker, I'm a very disciplined member of this House. Rule-abiding,
sometimes
always member of this House. But I think, Honorable Speaker, the Speaker should also be guiding the members when they are making provocative statements. The Minister gave a ministerial statement. I don't think it's in the members' position, in fact, to ask any political party here why they don't have a 50-50 gender policy in their constitution. We are not SWAPO, we are not mini SWAPO, we don't want to be SWAPO, and every political party,
she's already on the point of order. She's already on the
each and every political party in this House,
Honorable Member, okay, you have made your point.
Speaker, no, I'm trying to learn, but the former governor is standing. Governor, let me learn, Honorable Speaker, please. I'm on a point of order.
Honorable Member. Honorable Member,
you are out of order. You are out of order.
Honorable Member, you cannot make a point of order when another person is making a point of order.
You are out of order.
Honorable.
No,
it's against the rule, Honorable Member. Let the Honorable Member finish making her point of order, and the Honorable Member who is making a point of order. No. And the Honorable Hengari, please make a point of order. Don't try to argue with what the honorable member is saying.
Okay.
Because if you are arguing with the honorable member, I will also not allow you. You have to ask for the floor and make your own contribution.
Yes, it's fine.
Yes.
Yes, Speaker, I'm referring to the rule book, where it actually talks about members making provocative statements. You can read the rule yourself.
No, but that one is not a provocative statement.
No, I was about to land, Speaker. All I'm saying is that I don't think it's appropriate for the member to start asking political parties why they don't have policy so and so. It's up to each and every political party.
Okay. I know.
So the member can also not comment and ask political party questions. The only contribution must be in reference to the statement that was delivered by the minister and not us here. Thank you.
Honorable member, you are also out of order with your point of order. The honorable member may continue, please.
Honorable members, let's walk the talk. If we are talking about gender balance, it should start here, not there outside. So now let's look also to the standing rules
let
and
her
order.
say something at least.
The standing rules and order. Honorable members, the standing rules and order is also allowing it. When you choose a chairperson, if it is a female, it brings us to a male person to be elected. So this is about promoting the two genders.
Yes.
So now?
Honorable members, you are not
helping.
The presiding officer when 5 of you speak at the same time. And I want to assure you that the ruling that the presiding officer will make will not depend on how many people were speaking at the same time, addressing themselves to the presiding officer. Not at all. So the presiding officer would make a ruling based on what she, in this case, considers to be a correct ruling. So I just want you to know that. So next time the 7 of you are talking together, don't think that that is going to change the way that the presiding officer would rule. Yeah, it may just cause the presiding officer to invoke some other privileges that are available to the presiding officer. Yes, now, Honorable Member, may you finalize? And then the point that was made by Honorable Hengari is in part also correct to say, when members comment on ministerial statements, they must limit themselves to the issues that were raised in the ministerial statement. We don't just make it a general debate. Because you said other things that you were defending that were not right. So I have made a ruling already. I don't want to go there. Honorable Member, please conclude.
In conclusion, Honorable Members.
She didn't say anything. No, she didn't say anything. Let her say something.
I did not say anything. So in conclusion, Honorable Members.
Please don't stop.
The policy is
said
fine.
What?
We are also having a committee.
So how can you say point of order on
intimidation and then we move on? Thank you.
So I need to hear what she's saying so that I'll be able to make out whether there is a point to make a point of order. But you are making it difficult for me to do that. So the Honorable Member has now finished, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. So now we proceed. Honorable Haikola. There is no one on the floor now. No, it doesn't matter. Right now there is no one on the floor. Unless if you were asking for the floor, but you spoke already, Honorable Member. Honorable Member, you are now out of order. You can't make a point of order when there is no one on the floor. No, but the person is not on the floor now. No, because you got up without a person saying anything. Honorable members, I think the challenge that we have, because this is a new parliament, there is a mistaken view from the members of parliament that when you ask for the floor, the presiding officer is obliged to give you the floor at the time that you ask. And if the presiding officer doesn't do that, you are free now to just act contrary to the rules. That's wrong. honorable members, it's wrong. If 6 people start to conduct themselves in that way, we are not going to hear each other. And the people that are out there won't understand what is going on in the House. So no, I am not going. I give the floor to Honorable Haikola. Honorable member.
Okay, I will let it leave for now, but not further abuse again.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for informing us about that policy. It's very important, but it's also very important we take this matter very, very serious, because otherwise we will create a war that we will not even end. We don't want this war to come whereby whenever women, when they look at men, they think that men are a threat, and also vice versa. This we will only do it if action. We will only do it really.
What is that now? A woman disturbing another woman?
Yeah, it's a woman disturbing another woman.
No
so
MP must.
Policies here and the actions really to uplift these boy children or male in rural areas is not happening, then we are going to have a problem. So that's why Professor said that we should also reach out to women in rural areas, men in rural areas, women who are heading houses. There must be a committee or something. They must come together and say, women-headed houses. You know, just a group of women. And also, equally, men. So both genders are very important, but it's very important we uplift both of them so that we cannot be threats to each other. So my question goes, the first one says, how will the government ensure that all regions, especially in rural areas, benefit equally from this policy? I'm now referring to men, and women. Okay, because I took note, Minister, you have mentioned about marginalized communities and everything, but I want I want the real action, not just by paper. And my second question is, honorable members, I'm still on the floor and you need to listen. Is there a specific budget allocated for the implementation of this policy? If so, how will funds be distributed and monitored? I also took note of the monitoring and evaluation that we have mentioned, but this one is different. Thank you.
Very good. You listen to others and you will listen to also. Now, Honorable April.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for allowing a humble servant of the people of Namibia to contribute to the debate on the floor. I want to first of all appreciate the Minister and also say it up front that I definitely support the policy because it seeks to address the historical wrongs. However, I'd like to put emphasis more on praxis versus theory. What we have in the policy is okay. But what we have been seeing in the interpretation and application of how gender approaches solving problems in terms of gender inequality and whatever the other word is becoming problematic, Comrade Speaker. We are definitely, we do not really put our minds to how we are applying this gender-seeking equality approach, we are going to get the country into a new problem where the man, the boy child would start to believe that he is an inferior Namibian in our own country. Because there are no deliberate programs that I see. And I'm talking from experience. I was heading a region I know. Gender committee for that. So therefore, I want to appeal from the Minister. I like the content of the policy, but in your seeking to apply it in general out there in practical terms, please look into it that the boy child is not left behind. That was my humble penny I wanted to throw into the purse. And I would like to, now that I have the floor, also ask modestly, Comrade Speaker, that Honorable Ina must apologize because she labeled me as somehow insane because she said I need my mind to be read.
Yes.
And that's very worrisome.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you, Honorable Hengari. Apparently, Honorable Kalola. Yes, okay, you have the floor. Yes, in a minute, less than a minute, half a minute.
Speaker, I want to say again, I am a very respectful member of this House that respects all members equally. And I have a special respect and care and love for Honorable April. And I would never in any way insinuate that his brain is insane, and therefore, what I meant was that perhaps, Honorable Hengari, what did you say? What did you say? No, I said we need to deconstruct and we need to demystify harmful stereotypes and decolonize the mind. Yes. To not think and emancipate the men in this house from thinking that women want to overpower them. And not just men in this house, but just men generally. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable April.
I am the one who the relationship of her and me is a victim.
Yes.
I feel definitely demoralized and insulted. And therefore, Comrade Speaker, I want her, my Honorable Ina, to just withdraw
unconditionally.
Unconditionally.
Yeah. And you are a pastor for that matter. She can't do that.
Yeah. Okay, very good, very good. Thank you. Thank you very much. There was a list on the screen, but it's not on the... Yes, Honorable Kalola.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Speaker. First and foremost, I would like to appreciate the Minister for that crucial policy. It's quite imperative, yeah. I'm a boy child, and I've been a boy child. So we are not really just saying things out of the blue. Some of the things they've been there, and they are still happening. Even though they are, we have been having documents and policies that are really sounding well, but on the ground, they are contrary to what is in black and white. So the boy child has been neglected. And I'm happy that Minister used to come here and you are seeing already in the house how it's happening. It's already, the abuse, really as a boy child.
Yes, honorable members, I'm now going to minimize the point of orders, because I can see, and I'm not referring to Honorable Ndigara. If Honorable Ndigara, you can please take your seat. I'm not addressing myself to you as an individual at this point.
My minutes?
No, just take your seat and then you get your full minutes. Yeah? I just have to say this, that this presiding officer has a discretion to allow point of order. And I feel that point of order sometimes is just too much. It is disruptive. So please, colleagues, if you have not spoken and you think that somebody has said something that you think needs to be countered, ask for the floor. But to have 3 people ask for point of order when one person is speaking is really not helping us to achieve the objectives that these rules are here for. So I would like to give the floor to Honorable Kalola, and I would like to remind the Secretariat, the front desk, that when there is an interruption, the timer must be frozen so that the honorable member who is on the floor does not lose their minutes. Now, Honorable Kalola, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Yeah, Minister was saying that you have been here, and then you have been seeing how things are happening between the 2 genders. How a certain gender is being abused somehow. but that is not my point. So this kind of programs that are in that policy, I'm just urging you that let us not only focus on urban areas, but let us try to go out there to rural areas so that we can lift up these two genders. Because what has been happening in the past is that we only go to rural areas so that we can use a certain gender just to climb on them for our political gains. So I'm saying that let us try to go there in rural areas so that we can give these programs to everybody, not only to somebody who has access to internet or somebody who has, you see what I'm talking about. Thank you so much, and thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Hangula.
Speaker, I asked for the floor just to indulge and ask for a ruling on Rule 73, Sub-Rule 4. I want to ask, there is an honorable member who's wearing a vest here with a lot of insignia, and I just want to know, is that becoming attire in Parliament? And I would like to ask if tomorrow I were to adorn a vest in that nature, will I also be allowed to do so? So I ask for a ruling in that rule. Thank you.
The rule is very clear, and I want to repeat it to all the members, that we are all bound by what is in the rules. And my expectation is that we comply with the rules, and that's my ruling. And I hope that when we come tomorrow, we are not going to have anybody whose dressing code is violating the rule, and another one challenging why the other one is not called to order. We are not in competition to violate the rules or to uphold the rules. So I just want to say whoever, because I may not be able to see everybody, so whoever, maybe chief whips, can I request the chief whips to assist me to make sure that they are members? The front desk, please, when you spot them, tell the chief whips so that the chief whips will tell their members. That's my ruling. Because we cannot every time we are discussing have to remind lawmakers, we make the laws that we expect citizens to abide by, but we are unwilling to comply with the rules that we have made ourselves. That's not a very good example. So I have made the ruling, yes, everybody must come properly attired. Yeah, Honorable Kambala.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. I'd like to contribute to the Minister's statement with caution also. Is that in this country for the past, I would say 10 years, that I've been in youth development, we have tended to neglect the boy child. But also the problem has also been that there's a new culture of what Prof. Ampanda had earlier said, perfumed women.
No, you are out of order. I made the ruling on that one.
Yes, let me just finish. Let me just finish. Please. Oh.
No, that is out of order. There is to be no reference to that.
Okay. Unperfumed women.
Yeah, no, perfumed or unperfumed, both of them are ruled out.
Women.
What?
They are nice women.
Why do you want to characterize women in that way? It's not an honorable member. If you continue that line, I'm going to ask you to take your seat.
All right.
Make your point, please.
Okay, can I just get my time back, please?
No, because you were misusing your time.
Can I please just...
No, you are not getting it back. You have spent it. You chose to spend it that way.
Okay, so the issue that we need to address in this country is how we get our urban women to climb on the efforts of rural women. Because in this instance that we have seen over and time again, when we say women empowerment, we keep on looking at women that went to school, those ones that are close to Parliament, those ones that are close to the presidency, those ones. So we need to, so we are talking about women empowerment. There must be, we need to be deliberate and say that rural women empowerment, it must be rural empowerment for women. Because for far too long, rural women have been subjected to be marginalized. Don't contribute anything to this economy. So you need to ensure that in your state, in your ministry, there must be deliberate attention to given to empower women in the rural areas, Honorable Minister. Because you can't be fighting every time. So every time, but even when having conferences and workshops, is urban women that are attending. There's no rural women, and I can assure you, after a month or two, we'll have a conference, and we'll be attending women in those women from here. So please, women, those things do. What about the women of our leading house in Kadutura? The women that are little header, the women that's they are doing cleaning work. Yes, gentlemen. There's women that
you have made the point. Okay, honorable member, you have made your point. Honorable member, no debate among them. Honorable member, you have made your point. Your time is up now. You have made your point. Now I have 3 honorable MPs. Honorable members, we are elected representatives of all the people of Namibia, and we are not here to speak for our agendas. It's actually heartbreaking to see that we are divided between male MPs and female MPs. Mara, all of us, I'm making a ruling. So, honorable members, are you saying you are the only ones that can be heard? No, then keep quiet. Let the speaker also say something. No. Just because you disagree doesn't mean you must speak at the same time. No. No. This is an unacceptable way to deal with an issue. I have made my point, and it's also unacceptable that people should cheer in a chorus whenever they don't agree with the presiding officer, when the presiding officer is ruling. This is chaotic. You cannot, when people speak, when you are on the floor, complain and say, speaker, protect me. And when the speaker is making a ruling, you are jeering. What is that? The rules are applying to all of us in the House. Now, there are 2 people who have asked to speak. They are Honorable Karonda, and he will be followed by Honorable Kandorodu. And I give the floor to Honorable Karonda.
Thank you very much.
Honorable members, can we allow Honorable Karonda to speak?
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. James Brown says in one of his songs that this is a man's world. But it doesn't end there. The song goes on further. It goes on further to say that it means nothing without a woman or a girl. That's what he says. And I think it's a good premise to engage the Honorable Minister. And thank you for the statement. And I also want to echo those who said there's a neglect of the boy child. But I think it doesn't end there. It also goes on to the grown African men or male person, especially in affirmative action. And I'm glad you did make reference to affirmative action. Now, you see, when a male person, black, applies for a job and he is to compete with a white female person, the odds, as our law would have it, favor the white woman. Now, history tells me that there's something wrong with that affirmative action positioning, I think, of the, in regards to the black male person. The other issue, Honorable Minister, that I would want to raise also is, and I think this is a question, as to how deep have we gone into disengaging what would be called patriarchal social relations, especially within the African setting. And I think that's what perhaps Professor Amupanda also referred to, women in the rural setting. How free are they, really? How much have we succeeded in rolling back the oppression suffered by most of our female citizens in those settings? And how much empowerment have we given to the men in understanding their role in society as not one to oppress, but to also be part of the liberation efforts that, or liberating efforts that government is spearheading? Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I now recognize Honorable Kandorodo.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for Speaker, and Doctor, for your presentation. Please, let us not be gender insensitive. We must accommodate one another. But then we must also recognize the reality on the ground. Most of our houses are headed by women. It's a kind of hereditary kind setup. We have inherited that men will go and hunt and then women are left behind. However, due to the fact of urbanization, women are left at the villages. But the problem is the Ministry of Gender don't have also a robust program to assist them while they are there. As Honorable Karonda said, we have a robust program to assist those in urban area. So our program and policy are tailor-made, are urban-based tailor-made program to assist women. Let's take a classical example. We used to have a equipment aid program through the Ministry of Trade that was spearheaded by the late President, Dr. Hage Geingob, may his soul rest in peace, when he was a minister. But we don't have a program for particularly the rural youth, the rural women, so that they can be empowered. Specifically, where we have a vote, we have a budget for them, we look at programs like rural electrification just to take it there to where they are, so that they cannot follow their men. So when we talk about gender, it's not about women only, it's both of us. It's both of us. But there's also one component that I wanted to bring in my conclusion. The pronoun family. Where are they? They are not attended to, but they're in existence. They are there. The long abbreviation group, they the LGBT group.
Who's that one? This is James.
Now, this type of behavior, we are behaving this way because the speaker is a woman. So yes. The way we are behaving is undermining because she's a woman. So
very good, Honorable Speaker, but it won't work. It won't work. Thank you for recognizing it, but it won't work. It won't work.
You must protect me.
Yes.
Am I protected?
Yes, you are protected.
Yeah, no, you are doing well. He's doing well.
No, honourable members, let's allow Honourable Kandarodu. We are almost coming to the knock-off time. Let's allow him to finish.
Because this group are in existence, they are organized, but we don't attend to them, we don't assist them.
Yes.
So,
that one.
The LGBTQ group. So when we talk about gender, we need to bring them in. Our program must be inclusive. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Honourable members, in terms of Rule 85(1), ministerial statements, a minister making a statement has 10 minutes to speak once. A member commenting or asking a question on the statement has 3 minutes to do so and 1 chance only. And the minister in reply has 5 minutes to reply once only. So all the members who were asking for the floor to speak on the ministerial statement of this minister have spoken. I now give the floor to the Honourable Minister of Gender to respond.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. As I respond to the many questions, Honourable Speaker, allow me to thank the honourable members. I feel encouraged by the robust discussions. It demonstrates that gender equality, gender equity demands collective efforts. And that's what we've demonstrated today. In summarizing my response, Honourable Speaker, I want to bring to the attention of the members the 12 priority thematic areas, because these are some of the areas that will answer to the questions. And with the thematic areas, we've developed strategies that will be put into action, cutting across various OMAs. I did allude to the gender responsive planning and budgeting guidelines that was approved by Cabinet that will then place an obligation on the OMAs to ensure that our planning, our budgeting is gender responsive in terms of the gender needs. Now, when it comes to gender needs, these are the programs that we put in place to address a specific need of a specific gender. For example, the issues of the boy child, which came out prominent. I'm a mother of 2 boys only, but I only have sisters, no brothers, so it's quite contrast. So I really do share the sentiments expressed in terms of the boy child. And I want to refer you again to my ministerial statement, where one of the guidelines of those 12 speaks to male engagement. Therefore, it's an issue that we are really going to take on to ensure that we do address what we are now seeing as emerging gender inequality and emerging gender issues. So we have noted, and it's something that we do not take lightly, and at this point I want to call upon all OMAs to ensure that we do address those concerns. Because it speaks further, even up to the issues of education. There was a study that was done by UNA that looked at what were the contributing factors for the poor performance of the boys, and in that it's very, very comprehensive. Issues starting right at parenting level. In our homes, what do we do with the boy child and girl? A girl child, you cook, a boy child can sit and watch Netflix, for example. So it starts right from the way how we are grooming our boy child, the way how we are giving them the responsibilities. Because even in that same report, it shows that the enrollment is okay at tertiary, but in terms of finishing, the statistics is very skewed. So why do they drop out? So as we go and implement, we must look at what initiatives do we need to put in place to ensure that we keep the boy child in school, for example, to keep the boy child in the universities. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I want to assure the honorable members that we've taken note, and with those 12 priority areas, it also then covers the issues of gender and economic empowerment, which then addresses women economic empowerment, both in the rural and urban. Today I learned a new term of women urban. I don't know about women urban. So the women entrepreneurship will then also ensure that we do empower women in the rural areas. And as I conclude, I want to inform the honorable members that when it comes to entrepreneurship for women, we have Women in Business Association, which is a network that provides capacity building for women right in their constituencies, elevated at the regional level. And we have started putting up a structure to ensure that there's leadership in place where women and men can go and share network. We link them, especially when it comes to expos, trade fair. Access to market is very important. And the issues of access to land, access to productive resources, that is what we aim to achieve. But in short, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my heart is full. I'm going to sleep tonight because I know that I'm sharing this responsibility with the honorable members of the House. May I thank you for your contribution.
Yes, thank you, honorable member. I think that this is another subject that maybe the ministry really need to workshop the issue. It needs to be workshopped. We have a Parliamentary Standing Committee on Gender. We must start off at least from the same understanding to say this is what the policy does, and let us agree on where the shortcomings are, and let us discuss how we address those shortcomings, so that when we come here, we monitor how the policies that we have agreed upon are being implemented. But now you can see that we have some ground to cover there, and that's why we are struggling to comply with the rules. So, Honorable Minister, please let's look at that. But that also means that because this item was oversubscribed, we are no longer going to be able to consider any other item, because it's a knock of time. Actually, we are only 1 minute short of that. So I believe we can now just rise based on automatic adjournment until tomorrow.